Weinrib here with Fansided and the Yanks Go Yard podcast. Here with, you know him. If you're watching, you know him. If you're on the audio feed, you're waiting for me to tell you who this is. But you're going to like it. Bernie Williams, world champ 96, 98, 99, 2000, the iconic number 51. And he is joining me today to help raise awareness for interstitial lung disease, or ILD, ahead of Rare Disease Day on Friday, February 28th. Bernie, thank you so much for joining us, and tell us more to start about how you are raising awareness with Tune In to Lung Health.
Yeah, Tuning to Lung Health is a campaign designed to raise awareness about interstitial lung disease. As you said, my father, Bernabe Williams Sr., he passed away from idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, which is one of the most common forms of interstitial lung disease. And just kind of like getting prepared for Rare Disease Day on the 28th, we are kind of like trying to spread, the news and the gospel about, people with interstitial lung disease and try to get them to see it, tuningtolunghealth.com, because there's a lot of great information there for them to know, be educated about interstitial lung disease. We have a playlist of music that I sort of help curate. We have information and breathing exercises for people that have trouble breathing, and just the overall power of music, as a healing aspect that we can all utilize as a great resource.
Appreciate it so much, and obviously, I'm really glad that you're putting your unique spin on it as well. Curating music and sharing what your other love with everyone. Related, I heard that you are headlining a concert at the Stone Pony on March 27th in Asbury Park. I mean, that's a pretty iconic venue. And did you ever, I mean, even in your wildest dreams, did you think that you'd be following in Bruce Springsteen's footsteps like that?
Oh my God, that is such a blessing, such a great opportunity. I am so honored and still trying to pinch myself. Having an opportunity to meet him, several times in my young musical career has been a highlight. Performing with him at times, and I just now getting to headline in the place that he has made sort of an iconic place. It's just such a great thing, and I am so excited, so stoked to be able to do that.
What have those interactions been like with the boss? I mean, are you a guitar memorabilia collector? Like, do you get a signed guitar, or do you just shake his hand and be like, I can't believe that just happened?
No, I mean, it was a little bit of both. I actually had a black Telecaster in my locker room the times that I was playing. And there was one time that he came in the clubhouse just as a visitor. Obviously, it wasn't really any particular reason. I think either Dave Wells or Paul O'Neill brought him there. And he was just kind of making the rounds, talking to Derek and talking to all the guys. And I was like, oh man, this is a great opportunity. So I made him sign this Telecaster that I had. I still have it in my house. It is like a prominent place displayed. Uh, and he said to Bernie, if you ever get tired of baseball, to Bernie, if you ever get tired of baseball, dot dot dot, Bruce Springsteen. And then 20 years later, I find myself playing with him Glory Days at the Joe Torre Safe at Home Foundation dinner, which he was one of the guest performers. I mean, it was just, he said, hey, Bernie, you may be old for baseball, but you're a spring chicken for rock and roll. So I was like, man, that was amazing. And so having this opportunity to play at the Stone Pony, it's just a dream come true. And I can't not be more excited about it.
That is incredible. You should probably break out the Stratocaster and play it. To be
I
honest.
may, I may go and then just kind of, yeah, break it out and maybe play one of his songs or something.
Yeah, that's awesome. I want to take it back to your playing days a little bit. And just, we've been looking back a bit on your era because it feels like every year the Hall of Fame voting now, it's guys you played with and guys who, now Andrew Jones, someone you faced off with a good deal in the World Series, is sort of rising up the ballot a little bit. And he's towards the end of his eligibility, but it seems like he's probably going to make it in the next couple of years. And that has turned the focus to players like you, players like Kenny Lofton, people who are, no longer on the ballot but can be considered maybe by these committees. Do you think Andrew Jones's rise helps your case a little bit? Is this still something you think about?
Well, I mean, I think about it, kind of like maybe a couple times a year, especially when spring training comes and they announce all the all the people. It is an honor to be considered. There's a lot of things that I remember about my career, all the memories and all the championships that they're kind of like, nobody can take that away from us. This thing, my dad always was, really looking forward, to me. And he always said, "Hey, man, if you're playing baseball, where you want to be is in the Hall of Fame." And kind of like try to do everything in my power to be there. But at the same time, it's the thing that I cannot control. And why get stressed about something that you can't control? I think that, obviously Andrew, I mean, Andrew had a stellar career. He had a great tenure as a major leaguer, and I think he's well deserving of that great honor. And does it help my case? I mean, I think they take cases, on an individual basis. But if there's people that like that have been able to uh, get that great honor, I mean, I'm thinking it, hey, why not me? So I mean, you're still hoping, and you're still looking at it, as a great possibility. But I think the main thing is just to have those great memories of the tenure that I had, and all the camaraderie and all the great things that came with playing baseball with the championship New York Yankees, and that's an amazing thing.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Because, I mean, look, I think the 90s Yankees are, I'm obviously biased, but I think the 90s Yankees are criminally underrated in the Hall of Fame. Pettit, Posada, David Cone, obviously your case. But then again, you guys have all the rings. You can celebrate the championships and the memories instead. Do you feel like maybe, hey, the Hall maybe does need to represent the 90s Yankees dynasty a little bit more, though?
I think that it's really interesting because the game itself it's a team sport. Joe Torre said it best. Baseball is a team sport played by individuals. So we had these teams that were able to be so successful in our tenure. Mid to late 90s, early 2000s, and those teams, I consider them to be more of the sum of the parts rather than an individual that had all the weight of in their shoulders to get the team there. He was all about having a great scrappy lineup from 1 to 9, and all those guys. I mean, if you see all those guys all those years, we had guys that, even the complimentary guys that came, like the Chili Davises, the Cecil Fielders, all those people were, between, I don't know, 15 and 25 home runs, and maybe between 80 and 95 runs batted in. Nobody really had, this stellar numbers, but they were all spread out through the lineup. So we were really a hard team, not a whole bunch of individuals, but a hard team to contend with. And then to add to that, having a great bullpen, and then arguably, in my mind, the greatest closer in the history of the game, in Mariano Rivera. That was just such a great winning combination, and has been copied many times, but never, I mean, never replicated. So I think that, when you talk about the teams, especially our teams from the 90s, you have to take in consideration not necessarily the individuals that played, but the actual team, and how we were able to put this great team efforts, from all the things that I talked about.
Yeah, if I'm hearing you right, induct the whole team. Let's just put a 90
Yes,
Yankees plaque
yeah.
up there.
Make a concession about the 90s team, see, things about the murderers bro 27, but I don't know. I mean, I think that those are things that are great conversations to have, and just to be included in this conversation, that automatically sets you apart, and gets you to be proud of the fact that you made your mark in the game, and you're being talked about some of the best teams in the history of the game.
I want to talk about the current team a little bit too and get your thoughts, because this offseason they did they go to the World Series. They matched that level that you guys attained so many times. They fall to the Dodgers, and then Juan Soto leaves the Yankees for the Mets. Once upon a time, you also were pretty deep in discussions to leave the Yankees for the Red Sox. not quite the same rivalry, but still, I mean, these two situations are somewhat comparable to me. You eventually came back to the Yankees. It's where you wanted to be. He left and went to the Mets. What factored into your decision ultimately to decide to stay in New York?
Well, many things. I think it's a two or three prong answer. I think mainly was because of the fact that my family was here. I knew the system. Being a homegrown Yankee, from the time that I was 17, 18 years old, right out of high school, going through the minor league system and being picked to play, one of the best positions in the game, for any team. You play shortstop for the Yankees. I mean, that's hollow ground. Playing center field for the Yankees, that's just a completely different level. You talk about DiMaggio and Mickey Mantle, and everybody that followed that, that was just insane to be able to be part of that group of people was uh, very enticing to me. Uh, and I think it was just that. I mean, I didn't want to kind of like take off and start somewhere new once I knew that the Yankees were going to give me the best opportunity to be a winning baseball player playing for a winning team year in and year out because their ability to find the best players and if they don't grow them, they're trying to find a way to get them to play for them. And we had such a great culture in our team, starting with obviously with Mr. Steinbrenner and all the way down to Joe Torre, the coaching staff. Everything that club represented was just the epitome of a winning organization, and who wouldn't want to be associated with that? At that time, the decision was made, and I wanted to remain a Yankee, and I was able to do that, and I'm very proud of that.
Are you at all surprised that Juan Soto did not make the same decision? And do you think that he'll eventually regret leaving, or do you think he made the right decision for him?
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to answer that question. There's a couple of factors that are a little bit different. I mean, he wasn't a homegrown Yankee. He didn't really feel any allegiances to the team. And I think he wanted to have an opportunity, which I don't blame him, have the opportunity to maximize his earning potential uh, through his career. I mean, I think it might be a little bit of a mute point when you make that much money. You're going to have your great grandkids probably get some of that after you're way gone. But I think there is something to be said about having an opportunity to find, where you fit best. And the financial aspect is a big aspect of that. And I think he wanted to put himself out there for the team that gave him the best opportunity to, get the best money and the best possible contract. And since I don't think he had any allegiances to any particular team, I think he was just up for the taking. It was fair game for any team. Uh, I think time will tell. Well, will he regret that decision when, I mean, they have to win some championships for him to be sort of validated and say, oh, maybe this is the right decision that I made. But if they don't win anything, I mean, I still got a great contract, and I'm going to be set for the rest of my life, and whatever comes down my lineage. But as a player, I think there comes a point in time where you are really looking to get these championships, and that's really what secures your legacy. So it'll be interesting to see, what happens to him.
And talking about the players who are still on the Yankees, I found their backup plan fascinating. Right? They go get Max Fried. The rotation's not a weakness, but they've made it even more of a strength. They bring in Cody Bellinger, who's now following in your footsteps, playing in center. Veteran like Paul Goldschmidt would have fit in really well on your teams in the 90s. I mean, my first thought every time I see him is like, that's the most 1999 Yankee I've ever seen. How is it 2025? Devin Williams, who may have changed the course of Yankees history, talking about the beard policy. What are your thoughts on the way that the Yankees moved on and your expectations for this season?
I have great expectations for this season. I think, for the people that, I mean, there's been some real changes on the lineup and, the regular players and, the people that have come in from different organizations to be in the bullpen and, the pitching staff. But at the same time, I think all these people come to this team because they feel that they have an opportunity to be on a winning team and having the opportunity to be in the World Series. And I think, for the last 20 years, that has been sort of the driving point for people that come to the Yankees. It didn't used to be that way. I remember people saying, no, I'm not going to play with the Yankees, even though they may give me an opportunity because the culture of the team was such that it didn't really invite people to be part of that. But I think after, Buck Showalter left, Joe Torre came in, and we started winning, we were started to get associated with a culture that, was really great to play in this city, dealing with what we had to deal with. I mean, obviously the media and all the expectations and playing in this in really crazy fan base, that is so intense and so passionate about their team. For some people, that's a plus. They want to come here because they want to experience that. They want to experience playing in this, great organization, and they also want to have an opportunity to play in the postseason and hopefully make it to the World Series. And all these people that have come to this team at this point in this time for this year they give the Yankees that great opportunity, and I think it's going to be awesome. I mean, I'm talking about Cody. I remember seeing him as a young kid,
Yes.
running in the clubhouse, and kind of like doing all these things with his dad, and now he is, part of the team, and I think he has a great opportunity to maybe just be the guy that will make the team not miss Juan Soto. I mean, we all know that he has the potential to be a great outfielder and a great player. So maybe this is the opportunity that he needed to change that whole thing around and turn his career around in a way.
When he was running around the locker room as a kid, did you know, like, oh, you're going to be the center fielder of the Yankees in 25 years?
Nobody knew. We all know that he had the passion, and I mean, obviously, being there, surrounded by all the players, and be able to have that sort of like be like a precocious kid, like going into the clubhouse, going in the batting cage, just kind of being immersed in that environment has certainly helped, his upbringing and his desire to be a Major League Baseball player. And I think he just kind of comes full circle now. Being a Yankee, I think that he'll probably be the first one to tell you that it's just a dream come true for him.
I can't wait. One final question, and then I'll let you go. A lot of people are talking about the Dodgers now as sort of the new Yankees. They win the World Series last year. They spend like crazy trying to be the first repeat champion since you guys. When you see something like that, do you root against teams trying to repeat a little extra hard? Are you really happy? Like, are you happy to be the last team to repeat, let alone three-peat? And what are your thoughts sort of on the Dodgers' massive spending this offseason, whether it's good or bad for baseball?
Well, I mean, the Yankees have always been kind of like the sort of the team that has always been associated with that sort of spending. I think, in a way, the Yankees back in the 90s sort of spend it in a way that they wanted to keep their players, their core players in the team. And I think the spending that way was, I think, more positive. You're going to become a free agent. You have this 6-year tenure with the team, and now you're looking into other possibilities. So we're going to make it, so you want to spend, the rest of your career here for the most part. And I think that's the way that they spend the money for the most part, in those days. I think assembling a team out of different parts from different organizations, it may look good on paper, but there's something to be said about chemistry and getting that sort of cohesiveness on a team that only happens, a few times, and few and far in between. And you can put a great team together in paper, but once, they have to blend in and they have to, be cohesive and they have to lean on each other and they have to be a team. And I think that might be the thing that might be a little bit different with the Dodgers. I think they're doing it right, the right way. They're doing it very carefully. They still spending a lot of money. And that's, I mean, if you want to make money, you got to spend money. So they're putting this team and not only a team that is going to be good for next year, or maybe in the next 2 or 3 years, they're putting a team to be good for the long run. And that's how dynasties are created. I will never I will never criticize a team for trying to repeat because I knew that when I was playing, that was probably the hardest thing and the less rewarding thing that you had because as a team, you want to repeat and you want to do the best. But for the fans and the people that are not, in the team, they're like they get tired of seeing, the Chiefs, going to the Super Bowl every year, the Dodgers repeating, the Yankees back in the 90s. I mean, you're kind of like love to be hated. But for a team player playing in that team, that's probably one of the hardest things to do because if you have everything to lose and not a lot of things to gain. If you win, it was expected, but if you lose, you lose big. So it's a kind of a conundrum, but I will never criticize a team for trying to be the best, year after year, like we were.
We are set for an interesting season as they try to attempt to match what you did, which was, like you said, extremely hard. And I appreciate that you did it as many times as you did. Made my childhood incredible. You ruined the rest of baseball for me, actually, because no one else is as good as you guys were. So now it's like, where'd it go? But Bernie Williams, thank you so much for joining me. How can we learn more about Tune Into Lung Health ahead of Friday?
Well, tune into lunghealth.com. It's the website that we are trying to get everybody to check. Like I said before, we have a lot of great things there, information, from doctors, patients, caregivers, a playlist of music, utilizing the power of music to cope with all the things that come with interstitial lung disease and using a lot of the resources that tuneinto lunghealth.com has. It's a great thing, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to spread that out. And thank you.
Of course, Bernie Williams, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Hopefully, see you around the ballpark this summer.
All right, looking forward to it.